So in this week we are going to talk about a lot of things what happened in last few days in AI, as well as I want to dive deep into one of the AI tasks. What some of you have heard of personalization, but I want to dive deeper into hyper personalizations and what it would happen when you are looking at hyper personalization. So with that, let's get started. So hyper-personalization, imagine the situation where, let's say, you are watching a movie. In this case, I'm describing that I'm watching Mission Impossible Fallout from 2018. And during that movie, one of the scene, which is out of Paris, and if I'm watching it next time, maybe that scene is changed from Paris to Barcelona, maybe Barcelona to New York, and then whatnot. So the point is, as you watch the movie again and again, the underlying scenes are being changed. Maybe it's not only scenes or the locations are being changed, but also how the characters are reacting to some of these things. Maybe the entire way how Tom Cruise is working with missile is done differently in the next time when you watch that movie. So in a way, what we are saying here is we are personalizing further for you, for your enhanced better experience. That is what in a way hyper personalization is. But I go further deeper into the discussion in this article. Particularly I talk about when maybe a situation where I'm, while watching the movie, I'm craving for a Thai food and I see a Thai ad or Thai food restaurant ad shows up on my TV while I'm watching the movie, and I'm about to order a takeout to that restaurant, and I realize that there is a snow outside. Now, by the time I put down my phone, I see an Uber Eats alert coming to my phone saying that, hey, craving for a Thai food, here is a coupon for 30% off on your the favorite restaurant. Now that is hyper personalization, particularly in this scenario. Not only Uber, but the movie provider, in this case maybe it's coming from Netflix, Hulu, I don't know where that movie is, but it's all integrated together to meet my own personal requirement. And that is where it kind of make you feel the most important person on that particular time is what hyper personalization is. And not many companies have been doing it, but it has started. Right. So what's happening when we talk about hyper personalization is there are few component, and let me see if I can zoom in here. Few component get involved. So in a case of personalization, when we are looking at it, it's you have a recommendation engine. Let me go back to my original screen here. So this is the recommendation engine, which is common for any personalization aspect you may have. So maybe when user is querying something, that recommendation engine has a inference layer. That inference layer is serving the ad, for example, as a recommendation. Now this ad is actually pre-created for you. I mean, it is generalized. When I say created for you, let's say you are searching something on the internet, let's say shoes, and after a few minutes you go to some different website, maybe New York Times or Wall Street Journal, and this news website or any other website would have an advertisement on the side or on the top or wherever it is, and you will see news as a way of showing you the news, but also the advertisement of the shoes what you are searching for. Right. So in this scenario, that website is collaborating with that search engine provider to give you a personalized ad based on multiple factors. One could be based on the search what you just did. The second could be maybe it's the cookie within your browsing history is still within your history, and then based on that the advertiser is taking that browsing history and using it to serve you the ad. But in the case of hyper personalization, which is the right side of the diagram, where it's not just only recommendation engine and the serving engine, but we are also involving what we call an LLM, large language model for the text, large vision model for image generation, kind of combining these two with integration via LangChain, so that you have all those three components serving as a single integrated component. Feed that to your serving layer. So that means, let's say when you requested for that shoes, maybe they will show you Ritesh running in that shoe, a picture like that. Maybe they have a picture of Ritesh or someone like Ritesh showing you running with the shoe. But it's not only that, but they will also show you that since you prefer to run on a treadmill instead of outdoor, we are going to show you how it looks on a treadmill. If you prefer to run outdoor based on your own preferences, so they are kind of using all the preference information of your own and applying to that advertisement, and displaying you a very personal ad or hyper personal ads. That is what, in a nutshell, that hyper personalization mean is. But I'm sure you all are aware that when we have something good, there is always a bad. So let's first figure it out. What are the benefits of having such a hyper personalization, right? So first thing is you will get a better customer experience. So the moment you have hyper personalized ad, which is kind of a showing Ritesh in a treadmill with that Nike shoes, for example, that is a very customer enhanced customer experience. And 9 out of 10 times it's likely that Ritesh or whoever is that customer is going to purchase that item. And that will also increase the loyalty, right? So you will have a brand loyalty to that particular brand, whether it's Nike, Reebok, doesn't matter. And and from a marketing point of view or a sales point of view, you have a better conversion rate. So it's going to convert the customers sooner, and you will have a efficient marketing, because in this scenario you are not relying on a stock images or a stock pictures. You are relying on generating those pictures, and you will have a better insight. So that means you have a data driven insight in terms of what customers are doing and what they are not doing. All right, so that's on the benefit, but there always a risk. The risk is a privacy. Now, to allow this company to give me a personalized or hyper personalized advertisement, that means I'll have to open up myself. I'll have to show them that, hey, I like this, I don't like this. I like running on a treadmill, I don't like running outside. I like Nike, I don't like Reebok, and then so many other factors play inside. But at the same time, that means there is a privacy. What if that data get leaked for whatever reason? If the advertisement platform is not able to secure it properly, that's a risk. What about the bias and discrimination? Maybe that advertisement platform is biased towards a particular brand, or they are discriminating against a particular gender and then not showing a particular product as a part of output. Or maybe it's over personalized, where everything is around what I like, but I should be also looking at something which I don't like. Maybe I want to try something new. I cannot try something new if everything is hyper personalized, or rather over personalized just for me, right? So that's another factor to think about. And there are also some legal and ethical challenges which everyone has to go through in terms of, okay, what kind of data collection is in use, and how they can use this information to do even further analysis of my usage. So in a nutshell, hyper personalization relies heavily on the generative AI models, along with that recommendation engine what we talked about, and combining these two features is where we will see a lot of hyper personalization coming through in coming weeks and coming months. All right, so that's not it. There are a few more things happen in last couple of weeks, last week actually. Neurips, there is a conference, a research AI research conference, Neural Information Processing System. It happened earlier last week, and typically a researcher would come and show their papers, ask feedback from other researcher, and as a part of that, the conference also award few people that, okay, your paper was one of the best, or maybe two of the best. What I wanted to highlight is not those two best, but actually I wanted to highlight one of the runner-up. Runner-up coming from a research organization where they are kind of highlighting the reality that as the models are being built in current state, in current scenario, there is a lot of data being used, and literally we are running out of data from a public internet domain point of view. To train large homologous model, we are running out of the data. So what they showcased is, if you repeat the same set of data to as you are training the model, they do not see a major performance degradation. And when we are talking about performance, the reason we may see a performance degradation is because if you have a same data, that means it's going to come up with the same output. But at least in this scenario, what they trained with a 900 billion tokens and a 9 billion parameter model, they did not see that. So that's very encouraging to see that, okay, how, and we need to dive deeper in terms of what kind of research they are doing in terms of how the data is structured, how the data is not duplicated, and how they were able to generate that synthetic data as a duplicate aspect. But it's an encouraging point of view coming out from research at this time. Okay, so the next one on the list is prompt engineering, and particularly this is about ChatGPT. OpenAI came up with a prompt engineering guide for the GPT 3.5 and GPT 4 models. Particularly, they are highlighting 6 strategies to be used for better result. And one is clear instruction. I mean, if you don't have a clear instruction, there is no point in writing that prompt. But also they are asking to do few other things, like maybe you provide a reference from where you got that information, and they might be able to serve that answer better. Also, they are saying, okay, if you have a complex task, maybe split it down in 3 or 4 steps and use some sort of a chaining mechanism to bundle it together at the end of the day. And the other thing is, let model think. Like if we are doing a multiplication 28 times 34, it might take few seconds for me to think through what actually the answer could be. Similarly, let model think when we are giving them some complex problem. And also the next thing they are saying is use external sources, because the models are only trained up to certain date. GPT-4, they've been retraining. I believe the last retraining was done in September or October of this year, but it's still October. It's not like today we are talking in what, December. So it maybe easily 60 to 90 days old information. And to get the current information, you need to use techniques like RAG, retrieval augmented generation. So that's what they are suggesting, that go and use RAG. And last is test. Yes, you do want to test it, otherwise you will fail. I heard that somebody was able to buy one of the car, I believe it's a Chevy car, for just $1, because maybe that dealership had a ChatGPT text box as a conversation agent on their website, and the person who was talking to that ChatGPT bot was able to convince the board that $1 is a fair price and legally binding, and then they were able to at least go in that direction and convince the dealership that this is a $1 price for that particular car, a brand new car. So you do want to test in the production as well. All right, indemnification. So many companies, as they start using, maybe it's a text or the image, there is a potential of lawsuits, and actually that detracts the user from adopting this generative AI model. So Anthropic, a very good step from Anthropic, actually they just launched their new terms of service, and as they verbatim enable the customers to retain ownership rights over any output they generate through the use of Anthropic service, and protect them from copyright infringement claims. So that means if they create something and somebody comes and claim that, hey, this is my own original work, and I'm gonna create a lawsuit for $1 million or 50 million or $100 million, Anthropic will fight for that, and they will indemnify that, okay, this is not actually the work, and potentially if judgment comes in the against Anthropic, they will be able to pay any approved settlement or judgment of that result. So that's a very good step overall. If you ask me from an Anthropic point of view, I believe Microsoft has already started offering this. So this is in addition to Anthropic coming out with their own mechanism. And Apple. I mean, I know last week also we talked about Apple. This week also we are talking about Apple. So Apple is making good stride, at least for last few weeks, in the space of LLMs. So what this week they released a paper, but before we jump into the paper, Apple the memory what they give, the RAM what they give on your phone or your laptop is not humongous. It's tiny, and if you need to bump up that RAM from 8 to 16 or 16 to 32, there is a hefty price. So what here they are doing is they suggested that why not use the flash storage as a mechanics to store the model weights and load into memory as and when needed. Now it's a novel approach in a way, but it's not about the novelty part, because when you load model from flash memory or storage to your RAM, there is a latency, there is a delay. And what they are able to prove as a part of their paper is they were able to run this model twice the size of the available DRAM. That means if you have a 16 GB of a memory on your Mac or on a phone, 32 gigabytes of model you can run with a 4 to 5x speed increase in the inference, as well as 20 to 25x loading time from a GPU point of view. So they were able to do it so much faster, and the inference speed is so much better. So what would Apple do with all of this? Most likely they will hyper personalize so many things. Okay. All right. So with that, that's it for this week. Happy holidays and enjoy.